Hello, good afternoon. So, of course, it's that time of the year, it's Christmas time, so it's all time to wrap up warm, stay indoors. At the moment, I'm working on an essay which is focusing on Mary Wollstonecraft, who wrote The Vindication of the Rights of Woman. I've also been looking into Charles Dickens and his stories and focusing on the Christmas Carol. I'm doing a lot of reading and studying about these two characters. They're both monumental in their own ways, but of course, as I want to be a writer, it's very good to focus on the literal aspects of what they represent. From Mary Wollstonecraft, you're talking about the rights of women and her being the first feminist. Now, of course, I don't really know much about the origin of feminism. I've always imagined there to be like a sense of feminism throughout society, especially in the modern times, but I do find it thoroughly interesting that, of course, back in the 17th and 18th century, that there was such a need for revolution, not necessarily for genders, but also for society, really. And as I mentioned last time, what's happening in Chile, I can see it very much similar to what was happening there to what's happening back in the 19th and 18th century. So whereas she was preaching more of like a reformation of like state of mind, so what it takes to be human, which is actually very philosophical, it is actually very interesting. The other aspect of now Charles Dickens. Charles Dickens also, I just know a few of his stories, but to get into the history of things, well, I have to be honest with you, I didn't know much about him. Well, you hear stories like Oliver Twist and Great Expectations and Nicholas Nickleby, which we played in school. Yeah, it's been very interesting to know that he actually comes from a really hard background, and his ambition was to be a performer, an actor. So that's where you kind of introduce scripting into his stories. They're actually made in a way that they're supposed to be told. Talking about Christmas carols, his ambition was to create some kind of social equality, like everything needs to be balanced. There was no laws against using like 4-year-olds doing chimney sweepers. It's a whole different world, whole different society we're living in at the moment. So of course you've got these two different characters really and two different angles to understand turning points in history for literature. So yeah, this is where I'm at the moment. See you later because it's starting to rain now, so I'm going to make a bit more in a bit. Thank you very much. I just got back and it was actually just pouring down rain and it wasn't talking about. So yeah, so at the moment I'm going to do an essay. I'm really excited because of course the last essay I did, I got a really good result. So the idea is from TMA 1, the assignment I had to do, I got a lot of feedback which I need to follow, especially in regards to referencing. I don't know how I need to reference so much. It's going to be fun. So yeah, I'm very interested in these topics, and of course it's helping me write different things from different angles. I find reading philosophy is actually not as difficult as it used to be. When I was younger, I used to find it so kind of tedious and like long-winded and didn't make much sense of it, especially with the vocabulary they used. But now I read it. Well, I've actually downloaded the audiobook too, so I've got the two. I will be listening while I'm reading. And it's quite simple really what they're trying to say. They're just using fancy words. I say that because I do the same thing. Sometimes I've got such a simple idea to tell. I write so much kind of beating around the bush or using words that I don't really know what they mean. But then afterwards I realise they do make sense because we have internet, because I can check they make sense. So that's what I'm going to work on today. So this is where I'm at. I mean, now this is December, we're leading into Christmas, so I mean this weekend alone I just had like a work do on Friday. I went out to see my mum yesterday. Today was supposed to be a studies day, but I woke up, went for a walk instead. That's when I started making this video. I thought, you know what, if I don't make this now, when am I going to have time to make it? But I also need to get back into the rhythm of getting up early and following my standard discipline of fulfilling my potential. Because I do kind of slip more these days, and I think it's to do with the weather and of course a lot of things really, of course I want to say it's a bit of stress, a bit of kind of a lot to think about in such a short time, and I just want to maintain focus, contain a certain discipline of where I'm going next, and just don't lose sight of it. It's very easy to lose sight of things when you don't see the immediate result. I'm very much kind of one of these new generation where I need an immediate result to feel like motivated to continue. So in this case there is an immediate result, it's a gradual thing, it's going to take time, and if I don't figure out how to manage this, then I'm going to end up losing out. So I've got to get to it. I've also advanced on my internet course, which has been great, so I just need to keep maintaining my enthusiasm for that, which I was kind of hoping by now I would have done so I can get a new job. But again, everything's revolving around this time of year. Of course there's elections coming on Thursday, so everyone brought up about the elections, which I never used to be so interested in, but of course nowadays, with social media, you haven't really got an excuse not to be interested in it. You've got to give your opinion, you've got to voice some sort of point of view, even if it means you don't have one, just put like a null vote. It's completely to do with the people that are really integrated with it. I've checked out my local parties really, and we'll see which one I choose in the end, because I'm between the two main ones really. But again, at the same time, I don't want to make my voice kind of clear because I don't follow it that much, you know. And of course, I don't want to make it null neither, because I don't want to like disregard the opportunity to express my democratic voice. The last time I voted for something else in Chile, yeah, the guy I wanted won, but it wasn't the best person for the people in the end, was it? Gee. As far as I'm concerned, things have settled down in Chile. They're still protesting though, there's still a lot of injustice, and I don't know what's going to happen about that, to be honest. It's a bit of a mystery. And a lot of people are unsure too. It's all settled down in the sense of the mass protest, but it's become more individualized. And Philip told me last week that they destroyed a lot of San Antonio, and that can't go on, to be honest. But then what's the solution? There needs to be an immediate result. But like I said, that's kind of my mentality in the modern generation. If we don't see an immediate result, we feel like you're not progressing. That's kind of also how I feel about many things. At the same time, we've achieved a lot this year. This kind of like wrapping up how 2019 has come. And I just hope that if I continue studying what I'm doing, that it's going to be more interesting in the future, because I really want to get back into writing. It is a bit frustrating that I'm studying a lot of people, you know, who aren't really related to writing. In this chapter I did have to study like Mozart, Van Gogh, Van Gogh. Well, yeah, Mary Wollstonecraft, that was actually more interesting than I thought it was. And Charles Dickens, of course, is very, very fantastic. It's very interesting individuals, and I do think they will contribute to my literary take and help me develop my voice. I'm writing a Christmas story now, which I'm going to present on Wednesday, and I've used very much a Charles Dickens narrative, storytelling kind of ambience. But at the same time, I want to integrate a bit of philosophy, but not lecturing. So kind of making it integrated with the story itself, which is what A Christmas Carol really is about. Because it's like him telling a moral or teaching a lesson, but without it seeming like a lecture, like you're being told it. It's more like something that you learn as the story unfolds. So that's kind of where I'm going with this Christmas story, which I'm trying to base on 3 different Christmases that I've experienced from my childhood, from my years when I was married, and from my years being on my own. So I'm going to kind of put that together to make some kind of narrative, which has only got to be like 1,500 words. So if I figure 500 words each, we'll see how that comes out. But I'll put that on my blog if it's any good. Hope you enjoyed this short video. Again, it's not that good because it's not really well prepped, and that's why I haven't felt like I haven't been able to make anything. But I hope the next one will be better prepped, and we'll get it out there too, and we'll keep it coming, keep it rolling, alright? And thank you very much for watching. Have a good day. It's pouring down with rain at the moment. There's a whole storm outside, but again, this is England. We're in winter. It is what it is. Thank you very much. Good night.